What's going on, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. II, here in the flesh. Happy to be here late on a Thursday evening, the 7th of May, 2026. Wow, can you believe it? We're already almost halfway through 2026, and it feels like it just begun. Even though it feels like it's still winter here in mid-Michigan for all my Michiganders out there, it's a little bit chilly out still. The weather hasn't broke yet. And we can probably count on it not to break until the end of May, at least. So we got a ways to go. But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on a Thursday. And we're having a great time here. I just got done, actually had a whole week of umpiring baseball. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love being back out on the diamond. It makes me remember back in the day when I played travel ball. Took up all my summers and all my weekends, and there was times where I hated it, but at this point in time, I would kill to go back to those days, just to strap up the cleats, put on the mitt, and play some baseball. I mean, it's really unbeaten. When it comes to aesthetics, when it comes to aura, when it comes to competitive nature, when it comes to being an athlete, it really is such a big deal. So to all the kids out there, don't take it for granted. Enjoy every minute of it. Travel ball, if you have the luxury, to have the blessing in your life to be able to play travel ball, don't take it for granted, because those are the best. Those are arguably the best days of your life. So in the same vein, yes, I enjoy umpiring. I like being back out there, and I've had a lot of great games growing in my craft of an umpire, of a sports official in its entirety, both in how to carry yourself. And it's important to realize, just to stick on this point for a quick sec, it's important to distinguish the player side of things, the coach's side of things, and the official side of things, no matter what sport it is, and how to really carry yourself, how to kind of conduct certain situations, how to conduct yourself in certain situations. Because everybody has a stance, everybody has a perspective on how they believe a situation should go down. And if there is a disagreement, you have to be able to keep that level head. You got to be the voice of reason. You got to be able to be the guy that keeps your wits about you out there on the field, on the playing surface. And you got to make sure that everybody is well informed, everybody is educated on what's going on. And you can put it in layman's terms if you have to. For people to understand you, and be concise, but be decisive. And last but not least, the most important thing is maintain control of the contest. These things are so important, and these things, when I'm talking about these things, I'm talking about these games, these contests that we're dealing with. They can get out of hand real easy, and the officials have to be the voice of reason, that and the athletic director, if you have the luxury of them being there. You are the glue that keeps that game together and prevents it from getting unglued. So being the voice of reason, being that guy that can reel people in and be like, you know what, we got to get back to business here. We got to handle business as business is done. And when everybody around you is losing their heads, you got to be the guy that keeps your head. So that's the biggest lesson I've learned thus far. Let's see, I believe it's been 4 years of basketball under my belt, and this is my third year of baseball. So happy to keep running with it, happy to be a part of both of those beautiful sports, and hopefully I can do it for a long time. So let's just move on. Let's stay in the same vein of baseball, talk about the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Detroit Tigers have fallen on hard times. It's been reported that Tariq Skubal has been diagnosed with loose bodies in his elbow and will require surgery, sidelining him for a minimum of 2 months. That's per blessyouboys.com, a Detroit Tigers insider blog page that basically lays out all the ins and outs of the day-to-day within the Detroit Tigers program, within the clubhouse. They have some inside access, and they're giving some insight to the people. Now, we knew this. we knew they're dealing with some injuries or dealing with a couple suspensions, or have dealt with a couple suspensions. I don't know how many they're dealing with now, but injuries is definitely with a plural as it stands right now. So considering that, obviously with Tariq Skubal being the biggest detriment to the lineup for the Detroit Tigers, really hurts the Tigers in where they're at right now. And he's going to miss a minimum of 2 months, it looks like. So not only Skubal, but also Reese Olson, Verlander, Jackson Joby, Troy Melton, and Casey Mize are all residing on the injured list. Jack Flaherty's also dealing with some struggles, and Will Vest, if he has an injury, which he's dealt with some injuries in the past, is only going to compound the issue. So let's just say the bullpen for the Detroit Tigers is hurting big time right now. So what are they gonna do? How are they gonna place themselves? And still, you're talking early in the season, right? You're talking real early in the season. We've got a lot of games left. But this is when you set yourself apart. This is when you build upon the foundation which you're going to, live on until you get to the postseason, until you get to the fall, which is going to be a long summer before then. We know in reality the summer will fly by. When you're talking about the baseball season, you're talking about the amount of games that these guys are playing. It is a long summer. Okay, it's a long summer going into early fall, and then you're getting into fall, and then you really got to play baseball in the cold. You've been used to playing it in the hot heat all year long, and you're going to get some nice nights. Okay, it actually might be cooling off. I remember playing baseball. I liked it when it was a little bit cooler. I didn't like it when it was too hot. Just like playing golf. If it gets too hot, my head gets hot. If I get a hot head, nobody wants to deal with me. Okay, and I don't want to deal with myself. So keeping a cool head is a big deal no matter what you're talking about, but you still get some cold nights there in the late fall. Get into October, and these guys got the long sleeves out. You're playing with a ball that's basically in colder air. Okay, so the reaction to the ball is going to be different. So you want to set yourself up the best way you can going into the fall. Otherwise, you're going to be, let's just say you're going to be screwed potentially down the stretch if you're going to be playing catch up late in the season. And you don't want to do that. And that's kind of why Tigers fans and enthusiasts and analysts, bloggers are somewhat in shambles right now. They're predicting, they're using their crystal ball to predict the future and be like, you know what? Our bullpen's really stretched thin. We're going to have to count on some guys to step up in a big way. And we don't know if they can do that. So kind of getting the wheels spinning a little bit, seeing the writing on the wall, using your crystal ball. And I'm not a big fan of using a crystal ball. All right, I really try not to do it. There's a lot of people out there that do it. And sometimes they're right. So they think they're psychic to some extent. I don't buy into that. I try not to. Okay. Now everybody has predictions. Everybody has insights to what they believe is going to happen. If they see the writing on the wall or not, they're going to have claims. Some of these claims might be bold claims. So no matter what, try not to use a crystal ball. Leave it in the closet. That's what I say. Leave it in the closet and let things play out and hope for the best. Use a glass half full mentality. All right? There's enough things in this world to let you have a glass half empty mentality. Don't be that person. So that's my stance on the Tigers. Obviously love the Tigers. Been watching the Tigers for a long time. And I grew up in the Curtis Granderson, Maglio Ordonez, Kenny Rogers. Okay, all these guys. I grew up with these guys, watching these guys. So just like I grew up watching the 04 Pistons, 03-04 Pistons, I grew up watching the Tigers in around the same time, maybe a little bit later in the 2000s. But a great era of my life, and I had the luxury of being a fan during that time. And I'm hoping we can get back to that a little bit. So the Red Wings let me down. And I'm a Detroit guy, all right? Now, people are going to shoot shots at me because I'm not a Detroit Lions fan, and I still stand behind that. I was the biggest Lions fan before it was cool. Before it was cool Okay, at least for my generation. I'm not talking about the baby boomers. I'm talking about my generation. Before it was cool to be a Lions fan, I was a Lions fan. That was when most people were either not watching football or they really didn't give a shit what happened in the NFL, which is hard to think of a time that that would be the case. But I remember. I don't forget. I was the biggest Lions fan in the world. Okay, in my generation. Now, they let me down time and time again, and your heart can only get broken so many times. So I stepped away from that franchise. That doesn't mean I'm not a Detroit fan in other aspects, in other sports, in other leagues. Okay. Big Pistons guy, big Tigers guy, big Red Wings guy. All right. And now, and don't get me wrong. If the Detroit Lions go on and make a run at any point in their lifespan with whoever personnel they have, whoever's the head coach, whoever's in the head office, I'm going to be happy for them. It's not like I'm praying on their downfall. Okay? I would never do that unless I had money on the line against them. Then that changes things. But just out of the blue, out of spite, I would never do that. Okay? Because I'm a Michigan guy, born and bred in Michigan. Hope to live here for a long time. And yeah. So you got to support the teams that are here. Now, that same can't be said for the Michigan Wolverines. Now, we're getting into the weeds a little bit. We'll save that for another time. We talked about that in the last episode, actually. So we're going to save that for another time. But I've been wanting to get a couple people on here, and I still plan on doing it. It's been tough with scheduling issues, and the weather's getting a little bit nicer. People are busy. I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm busy. I get it. So, talking about Detroit basketball, this team is impressive. And I want to talk to Chris Platty, and I want to talk to my boy DJ Young Didi, a.k.a. Kyle Lutz. We got to get him on here, and we got to talk some Detroit basketball because I know he's got connections in the head office. I know Chris Platty has connections in the head office in Detroit. And the reason I know this is they're too close to it all. So there's no way for them to not have connections. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But this team, this Detroit team, and we're going to talk it over, chop it up a little bit just with me tonight. This Detroit team is showing me a level of poise that hasn't been seen in quite some time. Since the 03-04 Detroit Pistons, the Larry Brown era. At least I haven't seen it. Now, if somebody else has seen it, they can enlighten me. By all means, please do. But the amount of poise, the amount of will to win, the amount of chemistry, team chemistry, the amount of clutchability, which is a very important statistic that might go down on the stat sheet as an intangible. Clutchability is there, absolutely. But really, it goes hand in hand with chemistry, but team cohesion. Okay, and not only that, but a certain level of respect between the coach, JB Bickerstaff, and the entire team. And the amount of role players that this team has to go out on any given night, in any given series, in any given situation, and deliver to a high degree. Now, we've seen that, and we can say that confidently just because they came back from 3-1 in the series against the Magic. Now, the odds were stacked against them. The cards were down. The chips were down. And really, if you could have went and put a futures bet on the Pistons even to get out of that series alive, I bet that was plus money in a significant amount. But they did it anyway. Okay, they did it anyway. They made it happen. They clutched up. Cade has commanded this team. Now, we were talking a lot of trash about Cade last year, DJ Young Didi included. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. I was one of the first ones to spearhead it, but I'm not gonna backpedal at this point about those words that were said, and they weren't that bad. They were critical. They were constructively criticism of Cade Cunningham and his ability to maintain his role as a leader of the Detroit Pistons. Now, I didn't see that in that series against the Knicks. And it could all be defined by the last play. where he didn't take the shot. And he opted to put his teammate in a bad position to then win the game when he didn't try to clutch up and win it by himself. Now, it reminds me of Cam Newton not falling on the ball in the Super Bowl. For Michigan fans, it might remind you of the trouble with the snap not going down. Now, you can blame it on any individual play in any game, in any sport. But really, you can't do that. The reason we're doing it in these instances is because it represents the defining moments. And that might not paint the whole picture. But I digress. Talking about Cade Cunningham as the leader of the Detroit Pistons. He has to be the leader of the Detroit Pistons. You look at who they're interviewing at the end of these games. They're not interviewing anybody else. They're not looking for anybody else. Even if these guys had big games. Okay? Tobias Harris, 37 minutes, 21 points, 9 for 16. 2 for 3 from 3. 1 for 2 free throws. Okay. 7 rebounds. Now, Cade went off, but Cade has to go off every night. Okay, he's playing a lot of minutes. He's taking some time, but he played 42 minutes tonight. So he has to be the man because he is the man, and he is the man because he has to be the man. So when he doesn't rise to that level of standard of he has to be at this point at least, or something's wrong, then he's going to be criticized for it. But in the glory moments, he's going to get all the glory and he's going to get all the limelight because that's just how it works. So he was probably he had a lot of criticism, I'm sure, from others. He was hard on himself going into the offseason last year, but he knew that they were building. And looking at the recovery that they've made and the depths that they've climbed out of, it's really amazing. It's really astounding to see because you've seen kind of a mediocre Pistons, I could say all the way from 2004 and maybe a few years after. They had a couple decent years. Then they moved on to a very mediocre team. And then right when Cade got there, still a very mediocre team. You're lucky to win a couple games here and there. Tough games against big opponents. And then you had that terrible season. Okay, we're talking awful. We're talking terrible. And then you saw the ascension, and you saw the rise, and you saw the compounding of good things, and now here they are. I mean, they are a team now. And thank God they made it out of that Orlando series because the fans never would have lived that down. All that progress would have been for nothing until this point. It's like you have windows. I talk about it with Robert all the time. You have windows of opportunity. You have certain players on your team. You got a coach that you like that works really well with the team. You got all these stars that are aligning and dots that are becoming connected. And if you don't capitalize within that small window, it could pass you by and could possibly never return. So these things have to be considered. These things have to be noted. And, they came back, won the series against the Magic. Now they're up 2-0 against Cleveland. Okay, that's a great position to be. So you want to be up 2-0, obviously, and stack your chips high early. Okay, that's what you want to do. Have those insurance games, especially in a 7-game series. Those insurance games mean a lot. So let's see what they can do, man. Let's see what they can do. I don't want to do too much analysis right now. They're doing well. They're playing well. I'm happy with what I'm seeing with Detroit. You know what? I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. The biggest thing is their ability to finish the game. If you can finish the game and you can dominate the glass and you can make shots when it matters and get up a couple possessions and force the other team to foul and then make your free throws, it's hard to beat you. It's really hard to beat you. And Detroit is finishing games. I think they learned their lesson against the Magic. They clutched up. They won big at home in Game 7. And Game 7 was a defining game. That's where character was made. That's where greatness was created. That's where pro athletes were built. And that's where they gained their aura, is Game 7. If you can play well in a game 7 and clutch up in front of your fans, I mean, there's not a whole lot more aura you can have than that. Okay? So I'm proud of these guys. I'm proud of them boys because this is what Detroit Pistons fans especially, have been waiting for a long time, is a good Pistons team that's well put together and fun to watch. And that's what we have. So I'm here for it. I'm happy to be a part of it. And let's see what they can do. See how far they can go. Moving on to UFC 328 now. You're talking about the menace himself. You're talking about Sean Strickland. He is the menace, okay? He's going off against the undefeated guy from Uzbekistan, Khamzat Chimaev, okay? This guy is a serious fighter. Now, we've seen Sean Strickland be a little bit spotty as of late in his last couple appearances, but he's shown grit. He's shown his talent, and he's shown that he has what it takes to fight at the highest level, and a very common face to be seen on a main event, at a main card. So I love Sean Strickland. I love him. A little bit rough around the edges, and that's putting it lightly. But the UFC is rough around the edges. So if your personality is rough around the edges in a sport that's rough around the edges, I think it's par for the course, in my opinion. So you got a couple other big ones. You got Waldo Cortez Acosta going off against Alexander Volkov in the heavyweight bout. Then you got Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley, which that's going to be a great fight. And then you got King Green going off against Jeremy Stevens in the lightweight. And I love King Green. I saw a couple memes where he's getting knocked out, but he's a fighter that really likes to stick to his methods. He has a way of fighting. He has a unique way of fighting. He has a unique way of setting up, approaching, and defending himself against opponents. And it just makes him really fun to watch. So I like me some King Green to watch in any UFC fight. So gonna be a good one. And yeah, I'm really pissed though that for the prelims, Jan Blachowicz and Bogdan Guskov, that fight was canceled. So I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it, but I like my Polak, Jan Blachowicz. And we're not going to see him this weekend. It is what it is. That's the sport that we like to watch. Some people will tell me I hate UFC. They'll say, I can't watch it. These people that will say that. And I asked them why. I get it. It's kind of tough to watch sometimes. Okay, there's blood. There's a little bit of violence going on. But these individuals are putting their bodies on the line. They're putting their lives on the line for our benefit. And they're doing it willingly. And it's not like they're getting paid peanuts. These guys are making some money. Okay, so while the head trauma is real and the canvas is only so soft, we're going to watch it because we know that it's the modern day gladiator games. Okay, it's like we're at the Coliseum, right? I've been to the Coliseum. And just to think about the things that happen there. I mean, the modern day Coliseum is the octagon. It really is. I mean, you're talking about life or death, blood sport. That's what UFC is. And the product that Dana White and others have really created is a force to be reckoned with. It's something that has high status in this day and age when it comes to sports and it comes to competition. So I enjoy it. I hope you do too. If not, to each their own. I'm not going to make anybody want to like it. You got to like it. You got to have some drive towards it. Now, would I ever do it? Probably not. Now, let me tell you something that is stupid. Okay, and I'm going to say this right here. Right now on the GSN pod. The slapping competition, okay? Big slap, I think it's called. That's stupid because you're absolutely defenseless. You are just taking a hit from being limp. You're taking a hit to the face. Open palm. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, I'm with people that don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Power slap. That's what it's called. Power slap. And I just got to Google it right now because this is just some of the most absurd stuff that is out there. It's terrible. It's terrible. Now, if you do it, you're an idiot. Sorry. Just going to put that out there. If you take part in power slap or you like it, then you're an idiot. Period. So that's where I bring Dana White down a notch is with the power slap because it's stupid. It's stupid. And I'll go toe to toe with anybody on that. Gin Golf Tour Summer 2026. We're going to the Black Bear again. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Vanderbilt, Michigan, going up north. Might play somewhere else in Gaylord. There's a couple nice courses out there. Might play one on the way back. But we're really looking forward to that. Golf League is upon us. Golf League season is upon us. So obviously, new Johnny Golf content is on its way. Anecdotal stories. Might give you a couple articles here and there. Might give you a couple IG posts. Might give you a couple tutorials on how to take care of your equipment. Some of those actually had some pretty good traction on them, especially the grip replacement video that I had. People from all over were reaching out for that. And it's really quite simple to do. And I might do a new edition of that just to kind of give people some insights on how they can do it themselves. At home, you just buy the grips, takes a couple tools, and you can do it all yourself. It's a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for that as well. Okay, real quick, we just want to talk about Live Golf. Now, a lot of these golfers have been outspoken. They have been vocal. They have been, I don't know how you want to put it, but they've been in the limelight, I guess, when it comes to the questions that they're asked. So as everybody knows, a lot of these players, John Rahm in this instance, says he doesn't have many ways out as the league attempts to find new financing after Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, big money by the way, announced it will pull its funding after this season. Now, why are they doing that? And we talked to Sobolewski about it. Talked to Sobo about it, chopped it up, and we've talked about Live a lot of times on this podcast. And I'm sure we'll talk about it again. I like to make the connections, the parallels, if you will, from Live to the PGA Tour and what it entails. And the path for individuals, players to come back, which we've seen, I believe Brooks Koepka, Brooksy, is the pioneer when it comes to coming back to the PGA Tour from Live, going to the dark side and coming back to the light side. He's the pioneer. So, first of all, my biggest question is, why did Saudi Arabia's public investment fund announce they're going to pull their funding? Why do they do that? Okay. The fullness of that might not be completely out there for everybody to consume right now. But what Sobo said, let's say it had to have been at least a year ago or longer. He said, Live will not last. Live will not stand the test of time because it doesn't have the years, it doesn't have the decades, it doesn't have the centuries of history to back it up. It's not going to be a solid product on its own because the best product in the world for the game of golf in the professional realm is the PGA Tour. It always will be. And we've said that on the show. I've said it a million times in the show. I'll say it again. And I believe it wholeheartedly. because of the legacy, because of the history, because of the majors, because of the events. And now I don't care if the majors aren't sanctioned by the PGA Tour. They've been played on the PGA Tour forever. Okay? So I guess I didn't expect it to kind of go down like this fast, but it's happening. So what's going to happen to all these golfers? Many of them have reported that they're probably going to just retire. A lot of these guys can't stand to have to face these players at the PGA Tour after leaving, especially now they're getting forced out. It's not even like they volunteered and said, you know what? All right, I had enough of live. I think I'm going to jump back to the Legacy Tour. Okay, playing some events on the Legacy Tour and play within the formats of the PGA Tour as well. That's something that I think they really lost with Live, and I think if they made Live somewhat of its own tour that embodied similarities from the PGA Tour, format-wise, I think that it would have had a lot more success in its early years. And it's still in its early years, still in its infancy. But what will happen with Liv, we don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But I can see a lot of players coming back, or at least wanting to come back. So how all that's going to get worked out, I have no idea. And I'm glad I'm not dealing with it. The GSN Sports Network Challenge 7, presented by Tri-County Roofing and One Septic, will take place on June 6, 2026. We're just a month away, folks. You've been seeing the posts. You've been seeing the IG posts. I know they're fire, featuring our many individuals that are involved with the event. Get out there, take part in the event. Got a lot of great sponsors coming out. Got a lot of great golfers, great people being a part of this event. And we want to see you out there. So make sure to check out our website below in the description of this podcast for your way to register. The means that are necessary to register will be available to you in the description of this podcast down below. And it's a great event for a great cause. The Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation does a lot of great work. I had the pleasure of being a part of one of their heart screenings at Powers Catholic High School in February. And wow, the work they do, the individuals that they have, the professionals that are there taking care of everybody and conducting things and answering the tough questions, and the lives that are potentially saved, the ones that come up. The individuals that come up with ailments that it could have saved their life. I mean, these people are doing real things to conduct real change in the world of undiagnosed heart ailments, especially in young adults, young children, and athletes, young athletes. So they do a lot of great stuff. Come out to the event, take part in the GSN Sports Network Challenge 7, and we'll love to see you out there. The two-man event of the summer. A lot of great things going on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going, we're getting into that season again. You just had the NFL draft. We're going to chop it up with Robert once the dust settles on the draft a little bit more. And we got some time before the first kickoff of the preseason is among us. But these things come quick. I mean, it feels like we're just kind of on. It seems like we're on a hamster wheel, and we're just running, and wherever we land, we're just at some point in the year again. So hopefully this summer it'll slow down a little bit. I don't think it will, though. Never hasn't yet. But we keep moving onward and upward. That's the name of the game. So looking forward to doing it, and looking forward to having you guys along the way with us. So we'll leave it at that. Make sure to check us out on social media, GSNSportsNetwork.com on the web, at GSN Sports Network on IG, and find us on Twitter at GSNPros, and find me on Twitter at GSNCommish. Shoot me a tweet. Let's have a conversation, and let's chop it up. Looking forward to it. We're happy to have you guys here. Happy to hear from you guys. And for everybody that's taken part in all of the GSN Sports Network Challenge events, all the golf events that we've done. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being a part of making your community a better place. And we hope to see you guys partake in all of our events going forward. But I will leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, as always, John J. II. Have a great night.